Salvete omnes. We're going to talk about Caesar, Book 5, in the AP syllabus. So we're going to talk about the very first part where Caesar's going to establish or set up winter quarters, which is common for legions to do when waging war, especially since no one really wants to fight in the winter, because the winters, especially in France, can be cold and hazardous. So let's begin. So that's what Caesar's going to do. All of this is going to be used to talk about how he's going to distribute and separate or set up his camps in men. So with the ships, we start off in the Ablative Absolute, with the ships having been led up from under, and another Ablative Absolute with the advice of the Samorobriva of the Gauls having been completed or finished, which uh, he had came forward or brought, which the grain in this year the grain had brought forward in Gaul on account of the dryness, and this is more narrowly. Coactus est, so otherwise it was forced or driven together to, there's our infinitive, to locate the army in winter camps. And we get the word hibernation for the following years, or as in previous years. And so, and to here's another infinitive, to distribute, and to distribute the legions into many states, out of which he, Caesar, gave one understood legonium, one legion, to be led into the Morini, and he gave it to the legate Gaius Fabius. And then I understand did it with all these. He gave another legion to Quintus Cicero, not that Cicero, not Marcus Tullius Cicero, the famous orator, but his brother against the Nervi, right? And a third to Lucius Roscius against or into the Eusebians, and a fourth he ordered to winter in the Remi, or against the Remi, or in the Remi, with Titus Labienus in the confines of the Trevi. These again are these are a ton of tribes, and we'll take a look at the map below. All right, and so he established, he assembled, he placed three camps against or in or among the Belgi or the Belgae, and he made to them Marcus Crassus as quaestor, right, and Lucius Municius Plancus and Gaius Trebonius as legates, as ambassadors, right. Marcus Crassus is quaestor. Quaestor is one of those cursus honorum jobs. If we're looking at the track, quaestor is like the first rung, and then you go to edil, and then you go to praetor before you can become consul. And these guys were made legates. All right, and so we have to go all the way down here to find our head verb, our main verb. So he, Caesar, sent one legion as close as possible. He had conscripted across the Padus, which is a river, and 5 cohorts against or into the Euburones, of which the largest part is among the Mosa and the Rhine, which were, or I guess you could say who were, under the command of Ambiorix and Catuvolcus. We should note Ambiorix is going to be important for later. These are Gallic chieftains. Um, so Caesar ordered um, to these soldiers, Quintus, Titurius Sabina, and Lucius Aurunculeius Cotta, um, to take charge. I'm sorry, to take as legates to take charge of these soldiers. So let's go back. So he ordered um, the legates Quintus, Titurius Sabina, and Lucius Aurunculeius Cotta, to these soldiers, to these troops. To this way, with the legions having been distributed, he, being Caesar, understood, estimated that he was able to manage the lack of grain rather quickly. And nevertheless, the winter places or the winter quarters of all these legions, besides that which he had given to Lucius Roscius in a very peaceful and quiet part to be instituted, to be led, right? So these are all um, adjectives going with part-time. Again, the winter quarters up here is probably the subject for Contine Pontor. We're being held or we're being contained within 100,000 miles. I'm sorry, 100 miles. So this would literally be 100,000 paces of feet. So in other words, 100. So Caesar himself, meanwhile, Caesar himself, when or because he had learned, he had recognized, he had known um, that the legions, uh, having been collected or having been called in, as well as the winter quarters.
Eli?
Shh, I'm recording something. So I'll go back. So because he had learned or he had known that the legions, having been assembled, having been collected into that place, as well as the winter quarters, having been fortified, Caesar decided to delay in Gaul. And as we look down, we can find a map, right? This is a map of Britannia where Caesar was and just came back. So, and then here we have in 54 BC or 54 BCE the camps of each. So here's where Sabinus and Cotta are located. Here's where Titus Labienus is. Here's where Quintus Cicero is. Here's Fabius, Trebonius, Crassus, and Plancus. And Roscius is all the way over here in Sabii Carnutes. All right. So these are all roughly within 100 miles of, all contained within 100 miles. So it's hopeful that they could get to each other. All right, so we'll learn more about it, or we're going to take a look at Sabinus and Cotta, right, and see how they fare. All right, Omnes, walete.